All right, Big Bang. Today is Thursday. It is May 22nd. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Chiefs here. We are also joined by Big T from macro dosing because we're getting into a little bit of a macro topic. Big T, welcome in.
Have you guys done this?
Yes. I don't remember how long ago. Maybe. I don't know. They all blend together.
Yeah. I remember it, and I remember being like super locked in and interested about it. So it's kind of been a long time coming. So I've got my Ghost here, and I'm ready to rock.
Nice.
Shout out to Ghost. They got
focused.
I'm focused. Yeah, they got
energized.
Yes, they got the new energy iced tea lemonade flavor.
I had it yesterday.
I know. I think we're all out up here. So
yep.
I've got the old cherry limeade. Big T, what are you rocking over there?
This is orange cream. I feel that's fitting. Can I crack this?
Crack it open, of course.
This is still my number one.
The peaches?
The peach.
Peaches is great. Crack it open. Let us know how it is, Big T. I'll crack open this little cherry limeade, too. I love the Cubs can, but there is something about this green and red that does look nice.
Colors pop, but those pinstripes are sweet.
They are, yeah. How is it, Big T?
It's great.
That's good. That cherry limeade's great. Also, just keep going with that new iced tea lemonade flavor. It's bursting with lemonade. It's got a finishing smooth sweet tea flavor. Can be perfect ride along for all summer long. You're going to want a Ghost to lock in on this topic because it's a little scary, a little spooky. And, go get some Ghost. It's now sold nationwide for a limited time only on that flavor. So don't sleep on the epic new flavor of iced tea lemonade. Hop in on the action. All right, boys. Dead Internet Theory. Which one of you guys wants to give us the best definition of what it is?
The entire internet's fake. How about that? The theory, it started on like 4chan, like those types of places, which I wouldn't even know how to get the 4chan. That's like a layer of the internet that I don't know how to get.
I hear about 4chan a lot, and it seems like a lot of people use that. I've never seen how to get there.
Don't understand it.
I also don't know anybody that uses it.
Maybe they don't say that they use it.
I've got a couple guesses of people here that might use it, but none that I've...
Do you want to just say, does it rhyme with Harry?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if out of all their employers, how many people are active users on 4chan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I bet there's several.
You think so?
Yeah.
Name names.
I just have guesses.
Okay, tell me.
I went on it once just to,
How'd you get there?
You just go to 4chan.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all. It's that easy.
Okay.
It feels illegal.
It does. Like, I felt like I had to erase my browser history, but once I got there, I was like, I don't know what to do, and I don't want to click on anything illegal, so I'm out.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a scary place.
Yeah.
I don't know how to navigate that. But that's where the theory started, was on 4chan. And the theory is that starting in 2016, that the amount of bots and AI-generated content overwhelmed or took over the majority of content on the internet, and specifically with social medias. And this is not even like a theory so much, because there has been a class action lawsuit against Meta by advertising agencies, being like, a lot of your clicks, that there's like your engagement, all these things are really not, they're not actual real people. So there's an estimation that on Facebook, it was between like 30 and 60% of all engagement was by a bot.
Facebook said that. The lawsuit said up to 900%.
How can it be 900?
They said Facebook was overestimating their actual,
yes.
Their actual, how many people are seeing the ads by up to 900%. Facebook said it's really only like 80.
Yes. And then Facebook has also, and Meta, whatever, has sued different bot farms because it's like, you are fucking with our company. And do you feel like it online? Like, we had the discussion, I think it was around the NFL draft, where we said like the last great day on Twitter was the bong mask
with Laramie
Tunsil.
Oh, there were some after that.
But that was like, that to me was like, because that was 2016.
Well, you had the election,
but that's where it's like, I'm not saying everything after that was fake, but that was a great day, because after that I felt like it got like super toxic. And it was like, everybody's so politically charged, but that was like an awesome, like, everybody's in on this joke, everybody's funny. It was like, it felt like a real moment. And then after that, it's just like, oh, social media.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Thrones was cool for that, for sure.
I feel like we just had one within the last week or two that was really good.
The Pope stuff.
Yeah, that was a strong day.
Yeah.
I feel like the Will Smith, Chris Rock day was fun.
The slap day.
Because nobody knew if it was real.
But see, I still think that's fake. So if the premise of the thing is fake, then it's still fake.
Fair.
Yeah. And this is like another thing where it's like, we are on the internet. We are all sitting here in this room. I am pretty positive of that. Unless everything is just a simulation. We're in the Matrix.
You know, Quigs believes in, I forget the technical name for it, but he believes like he is the only real person.
Really? I should text Quigs to come up.
You should. Yeah. We talked to him about it on Macro. He like, I think he says like 50-50 kind of believes it, but he subscribes to like everything else is fake that he can't experience or see.
But that's always been the case.
Right. But some people, there's a name for it, and I don't know what it is, but it's like you believe you're the only real person.
Can you come to Dog Walk Studio for a second? Thanks, bye.
Yeah, but like you are everyone's trapped inside their own locked box.
Yeah.
Like you can't get out. So it's like I'm pretty sure that Eddie is sitting there, but there is a chance that he's not.
Well, it's like
here's where you lose me.
But that's the Matrix.
Yeah.
You know about like the color thing, right? Like you and I are both wearing blue, right? We agree we're both wearing blue.
Yes.
But there's no way for me to prove
Correct.
that what you're seeing me wear
I could see it's pink.
But we just both call it blue.
Right, but it's just some Pantone color that's percepted by like our.
There's no way to prove that we both actually know what we're saying we're wearing.
Besides what everyone says.
Hello, Quigs.
You got a second, Quigs? Yeah, please.
I told him you believe everyone else is fake.
A little bit.
There's no way to disprove that necessarily.
There's not.
Right.
We're talking some dead internet theory.
Okay.
And you are kind of like a king of making internet content. So is your content real?
Most of my content's fake.
Okay.
I pretty much just make everything up.
Right. But you're making it. It's human creativity.
Yeah.
So
the idea is there.
The idea is there.
So how much of that is fair game when it comes to this topic? Like obviously it's all fair game, but like to say it's actually
yeah. But there's a AI generated like original music that's like metal music that has been playing continuously since 2019.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So like, is that real or is that fake? Like I'm listening to it,
but that's derived from real music.
Sure.
So then is it real or fake?
That's what I'm asking. It's not human creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think you think you're the only person on Earth?
Yeah. So these are two separate.
They are.
Yeah.
They
I
are.
just mentioned it when we were talking about this.
It's not like
you don't live your life that way.
I don't live there and be like, you aren't real. But like,
right. Like you're not going
especially when I was younger and just like, I can't conceptualize like you going home and turning on the TV. Like when you're not in my life, you're just not there.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it all like my thought process all boils down to like the normal thought process of life of I'm not like a dick to you because I don't think you're real. You still like basically get like social points for like being nice to somebody. And
well, this is like now you're talking about like this could be, is God real? Because that is kind of that question too.
Yeah.
Like why do you act that way? Because it's good. Who says it's good? God.
Yeah, but it's like certain things make people feel a certain way about you.
Yes.
And it just
makes your life better.
Every part of me thinking I'm the only person alive just goes back to like the way you're supposed to live your life anyway.
Right. Totally. Because it's that you're inside of that system.
Yeah.
Yes. Whatever you are is inside of that system. So you think
I just think it's more of like a
so you're in a simulation.
Yeah, you could kind of break it down to that.
Okay.
I guess more that. I think more it's a simulation more than I'm like the god of my universe.
Right.
If every person is the only person alive.
I kind of think that. Like, I think you have like I don't know.
So
I know what he's saying.
yeah.
I get it. It's
You've never had that thought?
No, I think about it, but then I think about other things like that too. Like you're saying, you can't conceptualize what I do when I go home. This is like a dark thought, but do you ever like sit in traffic and be like, I wonder how many people I've made eye contact with are now dead? Like they're just gone. Because it's like that is like a very subtle, small connection that you make with another human. You're sitting in traffic, you're scanning around, you make eye contact. Did that person even make it home? They don't know. You're never going to see them.
What the hell?
They could be dead.
I get, but I'm just more like they die the second
They're
pull
gone.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that person
They were never there.
that was just like rendered into my traffic.
Your consciousness, whatever your consciousness is. Okay.
But I also don't just like day to day have that thought process.
Here's if it's a simulation,
Yeah.
who's running the simulation?
Who's the unmoved mover?
I don't know. Whoever's running the other million
See, does that make you more or less likely to believe in God if you believe it's a simulation?
I think less.
But that implies that someone has to be in charge of the simulation.
Right.
Yeah, but if you get into like the simulation, they could run 10 million of these, and this is just the one that I'm like the main guy in. Like if you believe
But
that there
someone's running it.
that there is like that you live in a simulation, you have to believe that there's infinite simulations going on. That like there's no like it's your simulation isn't special.
Who's the guy who said it's a 50-50 chance that we're either in a simulation or we are the original? Like we've proven that we can make the Sims game, right? So we can run a simulation. Therefore, it's equally likely that we either are in a simulation of something else's creation or that we are the first one.
Wouldn't there?
I'm butchering that, but
I know what you're saying though. But like even if we are in a simulation, the simulation's like basically perfect.
Yeah, a great simulation equals what we think life is.
Right. But how do
and
you?
then it doesn't
there's
really
like no
matter.
glitches unless we're like in a glitch, like this.
Oh, I think there's plenty of things that you could be like.
What's an example of a glitch?
Lightning storm. Like, do you think that like I don't know? You could think of anything as a like.
But there's like an explanation for the lightning storm.
There's an explanation for every glitch.
No, I'm talking like a glitch would be like space and time froze. Like that hasn't happened.
Yeah,
That we know of.
that we know of.
Yeah. This is not really dead internet theory.
I know, but it's still
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get to dead internet though, because I do think you will have an interesting perspective on it. Because if people don't know, like, how would you even describe your job, Quigs?
I have a hard time doing it. I make it sound like I do nothing. But I kind of do a lot of whatever I want here as long as I'm doing stuff. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of freedom. And then I have some fixed things, like I do advisors, I do Rubbin' Is Racing, now Mr. Jerry. And then other than that, anything Big Cat Dave asks for, and then anything that I get the idea to do, or if I have an idea that to help another brand here, I'll kind of hop on that for a little while. But
you are, so essentially, you tell me if this is fair. You're an editor here who is known as putting like finishing weird touches on the edits.
yes, that's my specialty is like give me some footage rather than having to shoot it, and I don't have a good like producer mindset of like being able. I'm good with just getting something and adding to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Making it better.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
So you use AI, I assume, a bunch, like you said.
A lot more now. Yeah.
Are we getting to a point where like the toothpaste is like too far out of the tube? Like, are we fucked with this stuff?
Yes. Kind of.
Explain.
What do you mean by the question?
by the question as far as is this going to be something, because we're going to get into whole like should this be a regulated thing?
Yeah.
Like, does there need to be a society, an international society? Are we? Do you believe we need to get to that point because sooner or later, and just nothing actually is going to be real?
Probably, yeah. Because like, there's a lot of stuff that I could do if I wanted to be malicious, and like, anytime I'm doing like an AI fake of somebody, like putting a gun in somebody's hand, like I want it to be. I leave like aspects of mistakes in there and things that look
prove
obviously
it's fake.
AI. Yeah, like I don't want anyone to like.
Oh, Big
and
T's
like
got a gun.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
Max at the White House. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna do anything. Not like he would get in trouble, but like there's a higher chance of like,
Yeah, if
I'm
it's
posting
too
a-
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't want a good fake of Max at the White House like pulling out a bomb
Sure.
under his back. Like, but I could make that easily.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and I don't know if you guys saw like Roan last night getting hacked with like the crypto stuff. And
Heard of it, but
somebody made it was a great like it made me think. I was like, I should start doing this. But like there's a lot of things where it can get malicious, and where it is right now is like a great spot for me where it's like, one, like I've been doing the graphic stuff before AI, so I don't need it, but there's like certain things that I never would be able to do, or like certain things that now if I'm out at a bar, I can make something on my phone that's like insane that before would be, I gotta go home, I gotta spend 5 hours doing this, and now I can do something on my phone, have a couple different apps and tools that I like intertwine together and get it done in 20 minutes, just like putting in some commands, like masking certain things that are messed up. But the way it's going, it's going to be, none of this stuff is hard. Like, and I'm in the world, so I'm like finding out about the programs before it gets to the masses and people realize how easy it is. But soon it's going to be very easy for anyone to do the stuff that I'm doing and like not have a conscience about who they're doing it to and like how realistic it is.
And you said you don't feel like you see a lot of the bot stuff on social media?
I mean, like there are some that are so obvious, right? Where it's like, this financial person is a wizard, and they just reply to your tweet about the Bears or the Blackhawks or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, this makes no sense. But then it's like, I've gotten to the point where if somebody says something, this is like a little mental game I play with myself. Someone says something that really bothers me, I'm just like, that's a bot. Like, I just dismiss it, because it's like that. If I think that it is an actual real person that has a viewpoint that is so, to me, like insane, that I'm just like, that cannot be real. People cannot think that way. Because if I did think that way, then I would feel worse about humanity, if that makes sense.
No,
So
it makes sense.
And like, you hear about how there are like these bad actors with AI bots and these farms that are like, and then even internally, like Facebook, Twitter, all their goal is to get you to remain on their app as long as possible.
Yeah.
So the way they do that is by giving you an emotional response. So you just, type and write and just stay on there to argue with people in theory, or watch the arguments. So it's like by design, but then it's like you learn that a lot of that design is actually fake. So like, that's a part where I just have to like disassociate from being like, I know who like the quote unquote real people are, and if I don't recognize their handle, then I assume that there's a chance that it's a bot, that it's a fake.
Because I think that, like he said, like at some point it's just going to get so good you're not going to be able to recognize it.
Yeah, we'll also like evolve with it. Like, you could say, I'm like, maybe when Twitter was created 20 years ago or whatever, like people would be like scared, be like, how can you tell if the person tweeting's actually the person? Blah,
Yeah,
blah.
is that job?
And then it's like, even now, like with like verified account, like you can tell when an account's fake and when it's not, and like people just get better at understand. And I'm sure you guys can all pretty much tell when something's AI now. At least to an extent, at least to where you're like,
I get duped by
this
images though. I've been duped by images before.
yeah, but like, there's always kind of something
Yeah.
that.
But think about,
And I look at it more.
right, everyone who works here works extensively on the internet. Like, most people are not on the internet as much as we are. And I mean, imagine anyone who's 45 or older.
Yeah.
Like,
You feel like your take would be like a natural selection, though. Like, of like, if you're dumb enough to get got by AI, then.
I mean, kind of, but also like, I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
a
at
lot.
some point, it's not the person viewing its fault if it just completely looks real.
But then they can use that to like manipulate public opinion about things.
Yeah, but maybe it'll end up being a good thing where it's just like people just assume everything's fake and stop caring about politics. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
maybe there'll be a pendulum swing where it's just like,
But you could take it away from politics and just be like, everyone is like, that must be the greatest product ever, and everyone tries to buy that product because there's been so much like positive chatter.
yeah, but that's like, how's that any difference than like a cheap, like terrible makeup for you that
Totally.
a million influencers are
Totally.
just saying is the best thing they've ever done because
Yeah.
they get paid. I guess it's just like somebody's not getting paid, but
And that was like the original like 4chan. The guy was like, this is the US government using AI and these tools to to mass gaslight the entire world.
Well, you saw what's in the I don't know if it's Trump's big beautiful bill or what bill it was, but there's some bill coming up that in it is an excerpt that says the federal government can't make any law regulating AI for the next 10 years.
No, I didn't.
And
know
that's
that.
just thrown in there.
But and I hate how they do that. They do that with every
Yeah.
bill. And it's like, why can't we just have it? We're voting on this one thing, and the bill is a page.
Like,
long.
listen, I'm a cut the red tape guy, but
Yeah.
why do we need to explicitly say you cannot under any circumstances make a law regulating anything about AI? Well, it's because they're getting paid billions of dollars by
Yeah.
OpenAI and
All these
and
places.
X and all these other companies because they just want unfettered access to do whatever they want.
it's also going to be very hard for them to ban it once they decide to, because it's kind of like, how do you define AI?
Oh,
Yeah.
it can never be. That's not even an option.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, like what? It wasn't even really a thing.
No.
I guess there were
And-
aspects of certain like programs and stuff you could say are AI.
And there's a ton of stuff now that it's like, it's not even AI. And every new feature on a program or like, they just put the word AI.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of been around forever. Like,
That's software.
like
Yes.
Yeah.
they're just like, and it's, some of them are like the newest thing and it's cool, but I'm like, that's not even AI. It's just,
I think the problem is just
Something
when it
that's been
gets
around
passed
forever.
as real, right? Like that rock station is a good point you brought up. And then I saw another example of there was a whole subreddit. The whole subreddit was fake, and everybody communicating to each other was all bots.
So, and that's the other thing I never understand with, especially the ones that are so like obvious, like the financial ones on Twitter. What is the ROI on that? Like, somebody has to create these bots, even if it's a program that's creating the bots, putting them out there, having them reply. You're still using some sort of energy. You have to pay for that. Like, how is anyone duped by that? I feel like they have to have a 0.00001% of getting a person with something like that.
yeah.
So what is the point? What is
That, like that Reddit thing that he was talking about, I don't think that's probably to dupe people. It's probably more to like study it and be
to
like,
test it? Yeah.
what happens if we just let a bunch of bots talk to each other? Like, where do they naturally
Go.
and talk about, and what do they learn, and what like social things do they develop that we don't have? Something like that.
So
Have
it's
you
like,
seen that one that I was talking about?
No, but I've seen things like, there's like a channel where it's like AI SpongeBob, and it's just a nonstop episode, and you go in and they're just talking to like, it's like, how did they get to this tangent? And it's just like, it's been going for like a year, and it's just a SpongeBob episode that doesn't stop, and I think you can pay to like get them to talk about something, and then they just
a
roll
super
with
chat.
that. Yeah, you super chat, and you're like, talk about basketball, and then
Yeah.
they'll start talking about basketball, and then it just keeps devolving until somebody else tells them what to talk about.
Have you seen the thing where it's telling AI to just regenerate a picture without changing it, and they do it like 100 times?
No, but I've like kind of done that, but
You should look that up. It like they'll put a picture of Obama in there, and they're like, just recreate the same image, don't change anything, and it changes like one tiny little thing.
yeah.
Then you do it again, and it morphs into like a white woman.
Yeah. No, I've tried to do that before, like where I'll try to get them to like be like, I'll make this exact same image, but take off like the earrings or something, and then it's like almost the same image, but they just like messed up the eyes, stuff like that. But yeah, they'll never. It's very hard to get it to like do the exact same thing twice in a row.
So, do you think that there should be guardrails? Because it's like you've seen kind of both things where it's like you can't have any AI. Then you can't have it. You said that was tucked in the big beautiful bill.
I don't know if it was the big beautiful bill. I'll find it.
Okay, but then I've also seen Altman and I think Chamath and some of these other like social media tech giants before Congress being like, we need like some guardrails, we need some restrictions and supervision, and like this is too big for us. So like, what would you even put in?
I mean, like, and I guess the bigger issue is like AI makes it more accessible, like more people can do it.
Yeah,
but I would assume it's all like there's got to be some sort of illegality of if I made an undetectable Trump press conference where he says certain things that like would genuinely get people. I would assume there's some sort of
it's like
world where I could be sued right now,
like fire in a movie theater, but for the internet.
And it's like, can they say, all right, you're not allowed to do AI, but like if you're good enough to use Adobe After Effects and like Blender and can do it without AI, it's not illegal under like the law we passed? And I don't know, like I think it's gonna be less of I think it's just the hot button topic right now, and it's like somebody 20 years ago could have gotten really good prosthetic makeup and dressed up as George Bush, and you're filming it on an oldish camera and could do people.
Yeah.
And it'd probably be worse because nobody has their like radar up for fake stuff. But they'll pass something, and it'll probably, the first two things will be like politics and porn.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, I think the porn thing already exists.
I would think it has to.
Yeah. Because when I was researching for this, it was like there was like a deep fake of Taylor Swift. Yeah. And I think she sued somebody.
I remember that.
Well, have you seen what the new thing is now?
No, I don't know.
It's making AI porn with people who appear with similar facial features as people who have like Down syndrome. And that's
somebody told me about this earlier.
And that's becoming like a big thing.
Wow. Wait, so it's like Down syndrome faces on the porn?
Yeah.
With AI.
Yes.
And why is this becoming a thing?
Couldn't tell you.
But this is like when like your stepsister became.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was like a
like,
porn.
why does any weird thing
Yeah.
become a thing?
Yeah.
You don't know, but it becomes a thing.
But I think it's because the internet's fake. Like
You don't think it's actually a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I think there's freak shows out there. Think of how many people are in the world, dude.
I know.
And like 60% of them, if not more, aren't very smart. And even some of the ones who are freaks.
I have this like this pushback when I get into these arguments and they're just like, everyone else is dumb. Like, I don't know. I've met a lot of people. They're all kind of within this standard deviation of me. Like I know
a lot of people are dumb.
So that is always more in like a political context too, where they're like, I remember they used to say it like, not that I think he was a good president, but they'd be like, George Bush, he's a fucking idiot. I'm like, well, he went to Harvard.
Well,
and
yeah,
Yale
that's
and,
different.
But like I think people are just whoever doesn't agree with me is dumb, or whoever doesn't, like I have a hard time.
No,
like,
I just think generally a lot of people are dumb.
I don't know.
And I think AI is making people way dumber. Like I've seen so many videos of teachers who are like, I've been a teacher for 5 years, I'm quitting, I can't take it anymore. Like kids they don't know how to write a sentence. They just have AI do it.
I will say those same teachers, I bet there's a lot that are like, write me a lesson plan on this.
Maybe.
Grade this paper.
I bet there's a lot of teachers.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a very simple.
There is a difference in doing that though, and like once you have a college degree and it's helping you do your job, as opposed to like you need to pass 10th grade English.
Yeah, and like not AI, but like everybody had their own system of, and AI is the worst probably, but
Kids will always
I'm sure
cheat.
you had an era of
Yeah.
what to do for cheating. Like I had this program called Chegg that was just every answer. There's always been like the test bank people.
Do you have
My
Wolfram
professor-
Alpha?
Everybody finds a way to not do any. Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
Working
but this
hard.
is different.
It is. I agree with that.
Because you
But
have to be able to speak and think and write.
yes.
I think to your point of everyone's dumb, I think everyone cosplays to a degree
What do you mean?
to be smarter than they actually are. Like I think a lot of us just don't know shit. But like
This whole show is not.
yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
everyone you think you look, that's like a grown adult. Like that guy knows what he's doing. It's like that guy don't know what the fuck he's doing. Probably
I think that's like a big part of growing up is when you realize your parents are just as dumb as you are.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people are just it's a cosplay. Like, you're still whatever age you are, you're still figuring shit out.
Yeah.
You still don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know?
But you have to know some things. Because
Yeah.
this would make like the cosplaying worse. And that's like kind of what this dead internet is. Like you don't really have to, maybe you just don't have to know anything. But then it's like, what are you doing? What do you do?
I don't know. You took some notes. I want to get into it. I want to talk about ChevyDriveChicago.com real quick, though. It's a new season, but it's always truck season at your local Chevy dealer. ChevyDriveChicago.com has all the information you need to research your future Chevy truck and locate a dealer near you. Maybe you're looking for something a little smaller for summer. Street parking. Obviously, it's hard to bang that Silverado in there. But Chevy's got a whole lineup of SUVs, and it is all great styles and great prices. You'll look good and you'll feel good about what you're driving. Even if an EV is what you need, your local Chevy dealer is ready to take you for a test drive and show you all of the latest technology in those top-tier electric SUVs. You got the Blazer, Chief.
Love the Blazer.
Big fan.
Yep.
You could park that wherever you want to go.
Click it into 4-wheel drive and the weather's shitty like today. Feel safe. You're good to go.
And people have room in the back seat. It's not like you're driving a little two-seater
it's
car
great.
where
Yeah.
people need to use two doors. So
Golf bags, hockey bags, they all fit back there.
Exactly.
Too.
Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com to learn more and find your dealer today. One more time, that's ChevyDriveChicago.com. Go over there, learn more, and find your dealer today. All right. Any other burning notes you had that you wanted to get into?
I mean, it's just like with the dead internet, the thing is like there's an estimation as high as 50% of all web traffic is bots. So that could be to boost it, but it could also just be like it's data collection. So it's like not all bots are necessarily bad, but it's like they're scraping for things or trying to find out more information. But it's like that would be a shit ton. And then there's also like the echo chamber portions where it's like you enter into it. This was a thing I remember Rogan had somebody on. This is a while ago, but there would be like a Facebook group for like Chevys. And then it would be all kind of people just talking trucks and cars and whatever in this Chevy Facebook group. And then it would click into like something political. So then you would have all these people who have been like following this page for a long time on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, just go in there for the content they thought they signed up for. And then it would switch over like intentionally so and start posting like political things to get people all fired up. And then like the echo chamber thing is kind of like what I said by accident, where it's like I dismiss it as like that must be a bot if they have some outlandish thing that I don't agree with for my own peace of mind. But then I'm just like I'm opting into that by saying that, like I'm opting into like affirmation. So then like everybody just thinks that they're right all the time. So then when somebody does have an opinion contrary to yours, it's like you're living in a completely different world. because everything's just all digital and all online. You're not actually ever meeting real people, and you have your own beliefs that are just like they're never really challenged, and it further and further gets people divided.
I think that's one of the biggest problems too, is so many people now interact exclusively on the internet. Like that's their whole life. They don't go talk to people. They work from home. They're not going to work and like being around people. And so as the internet becomes progressively more fake and the people you think you're interacting with aren't even people, like now you have an entire swath of the population that is just talking to machines. Yeah. And they never talk to real people.
You ever met someone who's really loud and different online, and then when you meet him in person, it's like, whoa, you're the person behind that account?
Yeah, it's crazy.
We got people in this office, I think. Right?
Yep.
You're just, there's the comfort of just the press send, for sure.
Oh, and it's safer, too.
Yeah.
Because you could say, like, vile things to people and just be like...
No concern.
Yeah.
No concern.
Right.
But to your point, too, there's always been bad data, right?
What do you mean?
There's always been, like, how many people got, like, the check, the stimulus check that didn't exist anymore. You know, there's always been databases where, all right, that's not real.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was like a big Doge thing with, like, people are getting Social Security checks that are 150 years old.
Yeah. Right. Like, that's the thing. There's always.
But then people are like, well, that's not even real. And I'm like, I don't know what's real. Like, I can't figure out what is real. That is the thing that's so maddening about this dead internet. And it almost feels like you texted me about this like a while ago. I had felt like I had heard about the dead internet theory, like, but never really looked into it. And then I felt like I woke up in the last couple of weeks, and it was like everywhere. And then if you type in dead internet theory on YouTube, there's dozens at least of these videos, anywhere from 10 to, an hour and a half long. They all have hundreds of thousands or millions of views. So it's like, that like makes me think like everything is a psyop. like everything is like, they're just trying to like, why are we all now talking about AI? Is it way more prevalent than it was? Like the tech is better, but as the amount of work being done on it, like I feel like their projections for what it is and what it can be probably hasn't changed. Like it's always like they've always kind of had this inkling of where it's going. But now it's like, why are we talking about this so much? Why is this tucked into a bill all of a sudden? Why is this dead internet theory like in my algorithm now all the time? And it's like, maybe we should just get rid of algorithms.
Well, that's the thing. These platforms have made it in a way easier for these AI companies to just go to whatever the algorithm
manipulate the algorithm. Yeah.
Right? Like how many times
you would hate a social media platform with no algorithm though? I think you'd be shocked if they pulled that away and just be like, fuck, I kind of liked.
But you don't.
Like,
but that's what it was kind of before. Like when I quit Facebook in 2012.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, all I'm seeing are like people arguing about Obama and Romney. Like I don't like, and it's like my aunt and my, second cousin. Like I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah.
So, but like it was better when it was like your friends, like people you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And but I just think you'd be shocked how much like algorithms have brainwashed you since then.
Probably. I would know.
It's kind of like being like PlayStation 1 rocked.
Yeah, okay.
And then
yeah.
you're up to like PS5 now and you go back to play and you're like, I remember this, but like kind of like having.
Do you ever use like the what is it even called on Twitter or on X?
Grok?
No, not Grok, but like when you're on like the For You. So like I use the For You for
I'm almost exclusively For You.
Me too.
Okay, so even for Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm never on that tab. I'm only ever on the following, but for TikTok, I'm only on the For You.
Yeah.
And then for Instagram, I feel like I have to opt in most of the time by going to the Explore page.
Yeah.
As opposed to like my normal feed of people I follow.
But that's still like a curated like.
Yeah, it's curated
from your followers what we think you want to see
or what you've clicked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I think that's fine. But it's like I don't want things like shot at me. Like I should have to like I am clicking onto the For You.
Yeah.
And then if you shoot me stuff, you shoot me stuff. But I still have to opt into it. I don't like the manipulation of the bots determining like this is a popular thing. We want people talking about this. We want people angry or whatever, feeling some sort of emotion about it. So we're going to use millions of bots to drum up engagement, which tricks the algorithm to get it in front of more real eyeballs.
And they'll like the algorithm will say like they're not sending it to you. It's like we've noticed you like stay on the political video for the whole minute and you scroll past the woodworking video, like you like the politics stuff or you hate it but it engages you. We give you more politics and that whatever side you were listening to, it'll be that kind. It's just that's like their argument, but I'm not saying it's healthy or good, but algorithms they make sense like every
I get what you're saying, but
and that's another thing like you can't outlaw an algorithm.
No, I know, I'm not saying, but it's like I do like have this like a fondness for what Facebook was when it first came out.
Oh yeah,
where it's
a fondness for people actually, and this is a little different, but a fondness for people creating content they actually want to do versus creating content that they know is going to hit the algorithm.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the Outdoor Boys.
Exactly. We were just talking about that with Dave.
Explain more about that. I'm somehow Dave in the situation.
So this guy on YouTube moved to Alaska. I think Ebo was telling me he was like an injury lawyer in Virginia.
Yep.
So I guess made some money and moved to Alaska and started a YouTube channel where he goes out in the mountains. He's like, I'm going to build an igloo today. And like does all this crazy shit. And
it's like kind of like a survivalist.
Yeah. And has become massive in the last year or so.
15 million.
I've heard a lot about him. And he said the other day, he's like, I don't like this. I don't like the amount of attention and fame I've gotten. I'm quitting.
So was he going, like, was he playing towards the algorithm? Like, was that his goal or was he doing content?
No, I think he was doing stuff that he loved doing. Yeah. And he just got super massive and famous and was like, I hate this. I don't want to do it anymore.
And like, I watched it. I thought it was great. But like, from an editing standpoint, a lot of the stuff he did was like big no-nos on YouTube. It would just be like 3 minutes of him like stacking ice with no music behind it.
Yeah.
And be like that's not like, you should speed that up, put some music, whatever.
Yeah.
And like nothing he did was like ever really to like grow or build his YouTube channel. He just literally went out there with a couple GoPros, filmed it and just chopped it all together. And
so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it was about as like wholesome as it gets for,
because we're kind of turning into an algorithm company, right?
Yeah. And like, I mean,
every company's an algorithm.
For video editing, you should try to make it do the best it's going to do on YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah. So like, but you want to play towards it.
Portnoy, but it does, like, his thing is the authenticity always wins. And I think like that's to Outdoor Boys, where he's just like, I'm not a video editor, but I know how to build an igloo. Or like I watched this one where he like made a warm shelter with no roof by basically starting a fire, burying the coals, laying on top of the coals and sitting next to a fire. Like that, I'm like, this is interesting. I like this. But because it does feel super authentic. And I feel like I remember, maybe it was TikTok, where it was like the less editing, like they favor like people over companies, and they favor like, you don't want to have too much editing because then that's seen.
A sign.
Yeah. So it's like you have to find.
I get you, and it's follow the leader. Like, you're following the king, and the king's beast, man. Like he's laid the groundwork, and then
they can pick and choose who they.
Yeah, Mr. Beast. Like, you wonder why everything is like challenge, like based content like that, and that's why.
But even like those D'Amelio girls, which I feel like all those TikTokers from like 2020, like COVID time, have faded off a little bit.
She's in a trans Romeo and Juliet Broadway show now.
I'm gonna have to take a second to digest that sentence, but
I don't have to take a second to digest that you knew that.
I learned it a couple months ago. We were talking about, it may have been on Macro, and I was like, what is she doing now?
Oh, you just go.
And Madeline McKenzie told me that she's in this production of Romeo and Juliet that has like current pop songs, but like the characters are gender non-conforming and such. So
okay.
Okay. my point.
I just wanted to update you. You said
Yeah.
she had faded. So
Yeah, apparently not. But my point was like they were like she's a pretty girl, but she was doing like the dances, right? Like that was the
Yeah.
How did she become so famous that she can do a trans Romeo and Juliet Broadway play 5 years later?
The internet just picks people now.
like how do they
Yeah.
just do
They pick
but is
people.
that the internet or is that the people on the internet or is that the algorithm?
It's people on the internet.
Okay.
Like it's some sort of weird communal brain thing that the internet, especially like TikTok has now, where they pick a person, they treat them like a god. They way over like them for about 3 months, and then they turn on them and give them way too much hate when they didn't do anything.
They're doing the same thing they always
And
did.
they just build up a village, burn it down,
Yeah.
find the next person, and I don't know.
Rinse and repeat.
It's just there's a new person every month or two that's like somebody will probably hit you with like, you haven't heard of this guy? And it's like, he's only been famous for like a month and a half.
Well, it
How
was
am I
like-
supposed to know this guy?
Like the Maryland Foodie Boys. Like they
Yeah.
were everywhere and now they're
Yeah, and
gone.
somebody was probably giving you
Yeah.
shit because you didn't know him. And
Right.
how the fuck am I supposed to know the like?
Yeah.
I gotta
protein?
say, I was the #1 Big Justice and AJ guy, and they're just gone.
Yeah.
I don't know where they went.
Honestly, maybe they just exited before they knew they were this close to getting everybody being like, fuck them, they have no talent. It's
I
like,
think they are.
I was
no
there
talent.
from the very beginning. Fucking choco cookies or whatever. Like
Double chocolate cookie.
I
chocolate cookie.
there's something that I found like revolting about that from the very beginning. And like
Costco guys.
I
You
love
must not be a Costco. Are you?
I love Costco. I'm
You
not a
a
member of my
Okay, well, that's why
I
you
go out
wouldn't
to
get
the
it.
suburbs
You
and
wouldn't get it.
I've been to Costco.
You wouldn't get it.
Yeah. I guess I don't get it.
You don't have a card.
No.
But you're right. It's like they got pushed out the door, and then here come the foodie boys. And then
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the Foodie Boys were like that. I feel like they were big for like
Well, I don't even
10
know.
days.
I don't know. Quigs, you would be able to let me know.
oh, if like the foodie boys are relevant.
Yeah.
No, it's
They're gone.
It's
Are there?
it was
Yeah.
about a month of like people making jokes in the comments and saying how like great this is, and then after that month, it's like, these guys are talentless. Like we get podcast mics to everybody. It's like, you guys are the one that built up the
Right.
talentless people. If you want to call
Yeah.
them like talentless, it's just like, it's how people have fun on the internet now. I think it's
Yeah.
like
tear it up,
kind
build
of
it.
like yeah.
Something I think about the internet often is like anything else in human history we would look back on and be like, that was so degrading for society. Like it ruined society. We should get rid of that. Like I'm trying to think of
You're
an
talking about
example.
like things that are happening now.
No, just like in the past, like smoking. Smoking is way down because everybody's like, wow, it turns out if you smoke cigarettes all the time, like you will die.
Yeah.
So now virtually nobody smokes. I think the internet has been infinitely more harmful to society
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
than smoking or anything that we would look back on that, but it's become so foundational that there's no chance it ever goes away.
Because there's a benefit side of it.
Right. It's
yeah.
only going to increase.
But like the joke of like, you know how they like call stuff like brain rot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're not that far from like them finding something where it's like some of this is like rotting our brain.
Oh, dude, no,
and
for
like
sure.
genuinely like turning off some parts of
I
like
agree with
critical things.
But how long did it take for smoking to get that way?
A long time. I mean,
But I think it's
forever.
different.
Forever,
If you
right?
go back to when like smoking started. It's
Yeah.
I think the internet falls into that like food category where it's like you need it to survive. Like there are benefits of the internet. So it's kind of like
Yeah, but
like
it's like I feel like that's a thing now too, where people are like more aware of like how shitty our specifically Americans' food system is, and they're like trying to people are trying to make different choices. I would love to make different internet choices. I don't know. I can't.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
I was
like,
gonna say if they invented a browser tomorrow,
I can quit drinking a
that's
lot
like-
easier than I can quit the internet.
If they create a browser that was 100% real people on the internet, like basically a little bit of like a time machine,
Yeah,
I think
You
you'd
don't
be
think-
like,
give me the other thing.
that's nice, but I'll just stay on the one because I'm
I'm gonna
able to decipher it and like I don't want to You don't want to just be like,
I also hate
this
change.
This link somebody sent you can't open it because it's not available on your like. It's not verified that a real person made this or sent it.
Could you imagine that being the guy who uses the new internet?
Yeah, you got like safe search on.
Yeah, exactly. This guy wears a helmet when he rides his bike. that's you'd get made fun of.
I know, but it's like, could there be a way where it's like, I need it for, but then it's like, I was going to say I need it for Google, but that just brings us to like everything else. And it's like, I need it for Google Maps. I need it for,
That's what I was saying. Like, I would love a community no.tes type of thing, but it
yeah,
has its own challenges.
yeah. I don't even really know how community notes works. Like how is that influenced by bots?
What's up, Coach
Come on.
Oates?
That is a Coach Oates jacket.
I was like, Bosco, what the fuck's this guy doing?
I just got approved to make community notes.
Oh, I didn't.
Part of the team.
So what I didn't even know that. I was wondering how that.
Yeah, you can apply to be a community notes writer.
And they selected you?
Yeah. I did it like 8 months ago, whenever they like first rolled it out. And 3 weeks ago, they were like, you've been accepted. So it's more, I can vote
What
on
power?
it. So it's like, I don't do a lot of like the writing, but I'll like the same way you see the community notes, I'll see a like grayed out version of the proposed note. And you go in and grade it, and you say if it's biased, say that it like provides good sources, stuff like that.
That's not going to be abused by you at all. Just
Yeah, I'll save it for something good.
when it comes to Barstool.
I don't want to hurt my score. I'm just building up my score by scoring other people so that I can finally slide one in there.
We need to have that guy who's written like 40% of Wikipedia and just have him kind of.
There's a guy that's done that?
Yeah, you never heard of this guy?
Oh.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. He is responsible for 40. It's something crazy, right? It's not 40.
Yeah, it's not 40 seem, but
Wikipedia is a CIA op.
He owns a big chunk of like everything that's ever been written on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need that guy. He's done a decent job, right?
I don't know.
Or no?
What if you find
Big
out?
T, back me up on this. Is Wikipedia a CIA thing?
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, where like if you want,
You're a little more in the weeds than I am.
I don't know that I am. Yeah. Well, this also is like that you guys heard of Operation Mockingbird?
No.
You've never heard of? Okay, that goes back to like the 60s where like the CIA, and now it was through like USAID, like they were funding like a huge percentage of all journalism around the world. Like the U.S. government was just, so it'd be like some paper in Nigeria. Well, that's really funded by the U.S. government, so you better say what we tell you to say. So like they were influencing like public opinion through media outlets, and they were never supposed to be allowed to propagandize the United States, but then they were always doing it. And then Obama like repealed that aspect of it back in like 2013, being like, yeah, you can propagandize United States citizens. So even though like they always kind of were, it was like officially allowed starting in 2013.
He's written over 6 million pieces. He's made over 6 million edits, having at least one edit to 1/3 of all articles in the edition.
What is he? What?
He looks like. Actually, I don't know. I was gonna say he looks exactly how you think he would look. I don't know if that is how he.
But like, does he get paid for that? Like, what does he do? Like, that's a full time.
He's been
a
on
lifetime.
He's been on like 60 Minutes and shit. I gotta watch.
I've never heard of this guy. Yeah.
If you have time to do 6 million edits on Wikipedia, you need to spend 6 months in jail
No, I love this guy. I love Wikipedia.
or get a job.
Wikipedia's the best.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I am a big wiki guy.
Were you like trained in high school? Like, don't believe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it's right
Like, and it-
100% of the time.
It's the most reliable thing.
Yes.
My freshman year in college, we had our buddy was doing a report. It was like something about like some Native American guy, and we knew he was doing Wikipedia, so we went in and edited it and he put it in his paper, and he got like a terrible grade. So we're like,
That rock.
Got him.
Now that's good. But
yeah, but is it still just kind of like open where anybody can edit anything? Like
Yeah,
that?
but it's way more of a like getting checked off by people with good ratings.
Okay.
And,
They pounce on you pretty quick now.
Yeah.
If you just fuck with them.
and they probably have some sort of AI
yeah,
check in the background of
Yeah.
like, no, this is obvious.
now every year when they ask me for $3, I say no. But
yeah.
I've used a lot more than $3 worth of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I feel like one article is like
I need
$3.
to give them some money. I feel
We all should.
Yeah.
How do
I'm
they,
not
how do
going
they
to, but-
support themselves? Just 100% donation?
Yes.
I think so.
that's
yeah.
what they claim.
How much, like, they have to have, like, well, I don't know about any of this, but, like, server space. Like, how many servers and, like, what kind of server farm supports Wikipedia and all that web traffic and all that data?
Got to be a lot.
But even like, so how many people use Wikipedia? 1 billion?
Yeah.
Okay, so say 10% of those people give $5. That's $500 million a year.
I'm trying to look up how many.
They always put the number on there. If everybody who viewed this page donated $1.30,
Yeah.
Yeah.
would never ever have to ask for money again.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us.
I'm scared.
Of course.
That's scary.
Enjoy your own simulations.
Exactly. We should do it again sometime.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for watching. That's it for this week. We will be back on Tuesday. We will see you then.